Hello and welcome to another edition of Pulp Picks. My name is Patrick.
I'm Fritz.
And we're here to give you this week's reading recommendations. Rain, nor sleet, nor freezing rain, nor snow, nor any of that stuff will stop us this time. Anyway,
I drove all the way from New Ulm. What's your excuse?
Yeah, exactly. So hope that you're snuggled in someplace safe and warm and ready to listen to some comic book reviews because we've got some big stuff to talk about. And let's start with your pick this week, Fritz. What you got for us?
Well, first, just a second.
Yep, it's that time of year too.
Yeah, no, I started feeling the tickle come up just as you were going transfer to me, and she's like, nope, that timing there. But yeah, no, my pick this week is Supergirl issue 8, and it's funny, we've talked about sometimes that like a lot of comics are like really bad about trying to time their kind of like holiday stuff properly.
Yeah.
Like how often you've gotten like a Halloween issue in November, like, come on, man, you know, like,
Right.
But one of the things I've been really enjoying with this one is that this series is that it actually kind of like is using the holidays to really kind of explore like Kara and her relationship with like moving back to Midville, like kind of reconnecting with friends and family from there. And this issue, spoiler, it's a Christmas issue, and Kara's feeling kind of down. She's got the winter blues, and Lesla, she doesn't like. She's new to Earth. She doesn't really get like all of our holidays and everything. So she's like, oh, it's supposed to be like happy and cheery and jolly and all that. And like, you're not being that way. I should try and fix that. And not really understanding like, hey man, there's some problems you can't just like fix by like buying someone a present or like making cookies.
Oh.
And yeah, there's like basically Kara is kind of just dealing with the fact of just like, she's feeling kind of directionless. She's feeling like she can't like help as many people as she wants to. And on top of that, that's kind of all kind of personified through the return of one of her old robot like doppelgangers that like she would use back when she was living at the orphanage. She had to like, oh, I've got to go do superhero stuff, but they can't just be like, what happened to one of our kids? Like,
right. Yep.
So she like has had a robot like kind of like standing in for her, but ever since she got adopted, it's just kind of been like hiding out in a tree, and turns out it's just been online this whole time.
Oh my.
And yeah, so it's just kind of like using that to explore her relationship with like just feeling like she's not doing enough, like being enough, and how that kind of relates to her relationships with everyone. It's very kind of like sad but sweet at the same time.
Sure.
It's because it's her just kind of having to deal with like there's limitations to everything. That's very much a lesson that she's like trying to impart to Leslie, because she's trying to teach her how to be a superhero. And one of the lessons of being a superhero is like, hey man, you're just not always going to be able to save everyone.
Right.
Whether or not you just like couldn't do it, or you weren't there, or just like there's always going to be something that falls through the cracks, and you just kind of have to like learn to live with that.
Yep.
But by that same token, she also comes to realize then it's important to like when you do have these people that you care about, that you love, that you need to like hold them tight. You need to like appreciate what you do have, even when faced up against the stuff that you don't have or can't do. And it's a very sweet comic. Like this whole run has been just like very nice. It's got like a very like Silver Age vibe in terms of like being a lot of like one and done stories, a lot of kind of like morality tale kind of stuff. It's like, but like still feeling very modern at the same time. Like it never feels like it's trying to be like a throwback, like Hackney kind of thing. And also the art on this issue, Sophie Campbell's been the primary artist as well as writer, but this issue they've got I'm not sure how to pronounce it exactly, but she's done a bunch of other stuff for DC. She's done some work on Absolute Flash. She did a couple issues there. She did she's done some other like miniseries here and there.
Yep.
But really does a good job of like capturing like the emotion. There's like a scene where Supergirl's kind of like having like a breakdown. Like just really good job there. I don't know. This is a book that like, because they dropped a bunch of Superman stuff over the summer because of like the movie and everything. And so it's like, oh, we've got a Supergirl movie coming next year. Let's do a Supergirl book too. I think the trailer for the movie like drops tomorrow or something.
Ooh, very excited.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. But yeah, no, this book very clearly like regardless of like the whole reason for it being like Sophie Campbell very clearly like has like a voice and a take that she wants to do with Kara here, and I've been enjoying it the whole time. Like this book has been surprisingly like one of my favorites of just anything DC's been putting out for the last couple months. And I'm super excited. I'm sure next year with the movie coming out, there'll be all kinds of other stuff they'll be doing. Supergirl. They were already going to be like a Valentine's Day special, I think, coming out in February. Next year is definitely going to be the summer of Supergirl. And if this book is any indication, we're in very good hands there.
Right, yeah. And the DC Compact Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow is coming out in January, I think.
Yep. We also have like the normal versions, but
highly recommend.
Yeah, regardless of what version you want to read, like, check it out.
Just saying, be a good stocking stuffer.
There you go.
Even if it's just for yourself.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, fantastic. Love me some Supergirl.
Yeah, but speaking of a book that features some maybe like traumatized spacefaring heroes, your pick this week.
I went with Nova Centurion #2. Now I know what you're saying. He's going to just pick every Nova every week that it comes out, and that's probably correct. But this also is a very good book. Quickly becoming my favorite to pick up and read. And this week, that's saying a lot. But so we really got a lot of this set up from the Imperial miniseries that came out. And so the gist of it is Richard Rider, again, is the sole caretaker and guardian of the world mind, and that is all of the knowledge of Xandar, and it is also what powers him with the Nova Force. So he is tasked with keeping it safe and powering it, because this is kind of a last chance backup of it that also requires a ton of power. It is not self-sustaining, so it's kind of an added level of challenge.
Like, imagine if your car was also the Library of Alexandria, and if you didn't gas it up regularly, just all that's gone.
Right, yes. And also the gas was crazy expensive.
Yeah, and also your car, you're just constantly running into people. Bad people, mind you, but people.
Right, and so he has now made a deal with the gang, the Kree Skrull War, or KSW, to go down, hunt down somebody he's very interested in throwing down with. Annihilus's former right-hand man, who helped orchestrate and plan the destruction of the Nova Corps way back during the Annihilation Wave, Ravenous. That is not a spoiler. That setup all happened in the first issue.
He's also just right on the cover.
Just right on the cover there. So, at the beginning of this, you kind of get them figuring out where Ravenous is at and what they want to do to go take him on, and we set the table with the cast of characters that are going to go into the field to address this. And Rich is pretty amped up for this fight, so, sometimes when Richard Rider gets a little too emotional, he jumps in feet first, and it doesn't always go well. So we get some great World Mind Nova interactions here, but we also, and you and I were talking about this, the cast of characters around him also have amazing lines. They're already becoming fun characters, even some of the brand new ones. There's a scene with an accountant that is just great.
Albert is like, he's so fun. Like we were talking a little about before, because like a couple of the people showing up here are a lot of like characters who have either like been a part of like Nova story before, or like have just been kind of like around and kind of like are in that general like space character orbit. And then there's some of the new people, like Albert is great. He like he's so sardonic about everything, and just feels like, this is just the guy that you could see like falling into like this kind of line work with Rich. There's this new accuser character who I love her whole thing of just like, nah, man, this like criminal organization that's like the future of like the Kree Skrull, like it
was an interesting take.
Yeah, like it's just like, oh, you are interesting, and like even the book like touches on like, having someone with like her around Rich is like maybe going to be an interesting like outcome.
And the accusers have always kind of been a part of that modern back out in space Nova story stuff. The aesthetic of the accusers is so cool, because like when Jack Kirby first drew Ronan, it's like this guy's kind of stiff and kind of a weird color combination, and I don't know. But man, it has aged very well because they still basically do, the giant hood and the weird techno hammer thing.
Oh, dude, like the accusers are like one of my favorite designs of his, if I'm being honest. Like, there's just something, because again, like the way he pulled, Kirby would be able to like pull in these elements is somehow turning into a Kirby thing now, which, as many comics things do, really, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But just like his design is like the fact that like decades and decades later, like so much of it remains basically unchanged.
Yeah.
This just says a lot about what he could do with just kind of like at times throwaway characters.
Yeah. Yeah, this book has been exceptional. If you haven't picked up number 1, we've still got a handful of copies,
we got a couple copies left, yeah.
So still a chance to do that. Highly recommend. It's a lot of fun. And because it's out in space, not that there aren't other books that are going to tie in and bump in and whatever, but it's really limited compared to, say, X-Men, Avengers, Fantastic Four, the stuff that's all happening on Earth where they're constantly crossing over. Yeah. And every event has a huge ripple effect. That was kind of one of the fun things about the original Abnett and Lanning run of Nova is he was off doing his own thing. And even during like Secret Invasion, he bumped into it a tiny bit, but it was more like he popped in, found out that it was happening, and it was like, yeah, that's cute. I've got way bigger things that I got to deal with, and then jetted back to space. And so it makes it kind of fun. It's not so overwhelming.
Yeah. And it also just the fact that while we were talking about like, oh yeah, it draws on all this stuff from like Annihilation and other things, like the book is at no point like new reader, or no, how do I, let me phrase it. It's very new reader friendly, I should say. Like any like kind of like plot point or emotional beat that you need to do, they do in such a like succinct way. You don't feel like you're missing anything. Like everything just feels like very authentic and like
it's pretty straightforward. Yeah. It's pretty easy to jump in.
Yeah, you don't like definitely like go and check that stuff out because it's good, but you don't need to like know any of that. Like
you could be reading that stuff now and reading this book now, and you'd be fine.
Yeah, it's like it's not over expository. It's very much like, hey, here's what you need to know, and like in a way that feels like very organic and not like you're having to like look up a wiki page while you're reading.
Right, yeah, for sure. And by the way, we do have Volume 1 and Volume 2 of the Annihilation Epic Collection in stock, so you can get caught up if you want to. All right, well, speaking of Epic, Let's dive into our consensus.
How else do we describe this book other than that?
Scary.
Well, in this particular issue, yes, it is Absolute Batman issue 15. And if you can tell from the cover, we get to learn about the Joker. And oh my God.
This book will definitely go down as a key issue that has the tag origin of Absolute Joker. It's chilling.
We were talking about this before. I'm honestly generally not like a big like fan of any time they try and be like, oh, the Joker is super scary. Like there's times it's fine, but a lot of times it just kind of like comes across as like kind of try-hardy, missing part of the point of the character to a certain extent.
Yeah.
And where I think why it works here is a couple different reasons. One, like Snyder has like worked with all these characters before in the past to a large extent, so he just already has like a good solid feel for like how these characters like work and just how you can like change them in like ways that are like very different but familiar.
Yes.
And two, he's also a lot of people when they try and make Joker scary, they're not necessarily like horror writers. Snyder is very much before anything else like where he started in comics was writing horror books, like writing stuff like American Vampire and doing other like non like DC or Vertigo books like Witches or stuff like that. Like he's like very much like entrenched in that kind of like genre, and so he's able to translate that very well here to like what if Batman's archenemy was like this actual genuine monster.
Yeah, like, and after seeing the actual genuine monsters that Absolute Batman has already run into, and you say like, well, how can you possibly, we literally just got done with Bane, how can you possibly go beyond that? Because we also, have seen a bit of the Rogues Gallery from Batman, and they're all just terrifying, awful creatures.
Like there's a panel that gets shared a lot online of, I think it's from issue 9, where like when Batman first sees like Bane all like juiced up, and he's just got this expression on his face, just like, oh, I don't know if I'm built for this action. And like, so anytime like when they announce like stuff about the Joker, this version of the Joker, like just people posting that image constantly because it's like, oh, he's terrifying.
Yeah, and you know, it's really interesting for me that Snyder was able to really keep the pedal on the gas after the conclusion of the whole Bane throwdown, and the way that was handled so deftly, because we have that book up here as well. And then to be able to just shift gears right into this and just feel like, man, we are still going up. You know, Bruce just faced down an unbeatable foe. This guy's on a whole nother level.
I think a way I would maybe kind of like describe it, like a way that maybe some people might find applicable, it's like that, like if you were like reading or watching like Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, like the like escalation of going from like, oh, like Raditz shows up, like he's like super powerful, like Goku has to team up with Piccolo, Goku dies, and then like as Raditz lies they're dying, he's just like, oh, there's two more guys like me that are way stronger. Have fun with that. Bye. And just like, oh god. Like, like just this thing of like, you think you've reached the mountaintop and it turns out like, nah, man, that was like a mound of dirt. Like that's the mountaintop. Right, you're screwed.
Yeah, and we had, I'm not going to share what, you know, some of your speculation and stuff was as to how the Joker, because it's no real surprise. It's right here on the cover. He's able to turn into a literal monster.
Yeah. And like, so this issue getting to kind of like what actually kind of happens here, it's a lot of like Alfred kind of telling Bruce like, here's like kind of what we know, here's what I think, like all these like different things, and just kind of like slowly peeling back the layers and like just, or the layers and revealing like new horror after new horror. Because like there's stuff just like, oh, there's like this kind of like surface level thing that like everything seems more or less copacetic, and then you kind of peel back and just like, oh no, there's some like kind of nefarious stuff going on under here. And then you pair that back and just like, oh, maybe this is just like the actual devil.
Right,
like, and it's just like, and the way it keeps like building, it's cutting back and forth between like what Alfred's telling him and then like what's actually like happening with the Joker right now. Like just how they build off each other is, oh, it's funny. We were talking about how like, hey, like good on them getting like a Christmas issue, a themed issue out. And then it's just like, man, this would come out like on like Halloween or something. Would have been very fitting because, oh, it is scary.
Yeah, and I'm also really liking how Snyder continues to use Alfred as kind of our guide. I wouldn't quite say narrator. Sometimes he's kind of narrating to the reader, but mostly he's talking to Bruce or making a report or talking, you know, doing the internal monologue to himself that you're getting to be able to hear, thinking about Bruce and what's about to go down. But it's a really good device, and Alfred's a very good character for it. But anyway.
Also, one thing I didn't touch on here yet. So, like, if you've been reading, like, Nick Shikota has been, like, the main artist. We've got a couple fill-in artists here and there for, like, special issues touching on, like, specific characters or concepts. And this issue is no different. We've got a longtime collaborator of Snyder's, Jock, who I believe was his like partner when he got Detective Comics right before New 52 happened. That was kind of like his kind of like proving out, like, oh, this guy's really good on Batman book. We should give him the main Batman book.
Right.
And like he's such a perfect fit here in terms of like conveying both like kind of like the mundane aspects of like kind of what makes this Joker work, but then also like when it comes to like the really scary parts, just like, oh, and even like, because there's different kinds of scary here. There's like the obvious like, oh, big monster scary, but then like kind of like the more like subdued like, oh, like weapons like manufacturing or like chemical like experiments, like all these like other like just kind of like things where there's like a subtleness to the scariness that he really captures.
Well, and we keep, like you were kind of saying earlier with the pulling back the layers, we keep thinking that we're getting towards the bottom as Alfred is going on with this description. And Bruce is like, no. Quit telling me what people think they know. Tell me what you believe about this guy. And it gets scarier and scarier and darker and darker.
And like, there's a part of you that's going like, oh, why is this like such a weird thing to like delve into this? And then you like remember, and they touch on this a little at the end of the issue, like, oh yeah, for like everyone in the world, like up until like Wonder Woman showed up, like no one had any real idea that like there were like things more than human out there.
It would be like it just starting to happen
Yeah.
here.
Like there's maybe like you've got like there's parts of the world where like there's the rumors of like, oh, this like Superman character maybe like popping up here and there, but even that is like very much like below most people's radar. Like until like Wonder Woman fighting the Tetracide, no one really knew like, oh, there's just actual monsters out there.
Right.
And now Alfred's just telling Bruce like, hey man, you might have to fight like a legit actual monster. Have fun with that.
Yeah, it would be like some evil genius building a raccoon army in like the here and now real world.
That is
would be horrifying.
That is such a very specific. Does he watch the videos actually?
I don't think so.
If you know, you know. But
all right, so a lot of good stuff up here. So not a ton of titles that came out this week, but a lot of big hitters to the point where we had a whole bunch of books that we were ready to go with. What almost made it up to the table for you?
Oh, let's see. A couple really good ones. Some nice 80s throwbacks for some people. No surprise, Transformers nearly made up here. Like, I really had to debate between this, and one of the other ones I really like this week. New team on the Turtles book this week. Gene Yang is new writer, and Freddie Williams second new artist. And yeah, no, as someone who's kind of just been kind of like dipping in and out, checking what's been going on with the Aaron run prior to this, and was reading parts of the previous run on the book, I really like this first issue of Yang's run. I think he's got like a really like good grip on the characters. Williams' art feels very fitting for it. Transformers obviously needs no explanation. There's a bunch of characters showing up that now that they've got Energon, they can be like, oh, we can bring these guys back.
Yep.
So like, I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about them, like, because pretty much everything so far has been pretty like G1 outside of like some original characters here and there, and like bringing Bulkhead in,
yes,
who is like very much like a character that came to prominence in like the like mid 2000s, 2010s, like it's just like how's he going to play, and like I love that the way he plays off of everyone is that like he's maybe like a little much for everyone.
Yeah,
like
he has a tendency to put his foot in his mouth.
Yeah, like I like that he like. He's kind of like tipping his hat to like, yeah, he's not like exactly a character all these other people are like used to having around. Right. So like his relationship with them is a little weird.
He's trying though.
There's the last page reveal that like I kind of figured something like that was going to happen at some point, but when it happens, just like oh, that's actually like way scarier than I thought it would be.
Yeah. I also really enjoyed Flag in this issue, and then we also had kind of an interesting conversation between Flag and Maxwell Mayhem.
Miles Mayhem.
Miles Mayhem, sorry.
It's funny that just in this one issue, like Flag has kind of become like maybe my favorite of the Joe characters, just because like, oh, you're very like, you're very different from everyone else. Like you've kind of, and part of that's I think just because he's like the top like of the food chain when it comes to the Joe, so he just can kind of like do whatever he wants.
Yeah, it's been a really interesting run, and that also kind of there was good setup for whatever's going to happen with the Mask Wing that I didn't even know was going to. And you know, when they first announced the Energon universe, that thought never entered my mind because. So far as I know, they've never really done much of a... Did they do a Masked Transformers crossover at any other point?
They did a little with them, because like back when IDW had the licenses for all the Hasbro stuff, they did like a little of that where they introduced a bunch of masked characters. They never did a whole lot with it, because not too long after that as they did like their whole reboot thing and all that. Yeah. So like it's something that they like toyed around with, like Hasbro has like...
No pun intended.
Yeah. Like Hasbro, like back in like the 2010s, they were going like try and have their own like cinematic universe with like with like Mask and Rom and all that, and then clearly did not happen for a bunch of different reasons. But it's something that they've always kind of like wanted to do, because they're like, well, we've got all these properties, we might as well.
Right.
And Mask of all them is basically like, yeah, what if you just took G.I. Joe and Transformers and mashed it together? But yeah, no, the fact that it is like one of those ones where like obviously like there's a lot of people who do like know and like Mask, but it's never really like being like a big thing like Hasbro as
right. Yeah, it was always kind of a second tier.
Yeah, like it kind of means that like, oh, they can just kind of like do whatever they want with it, which I think is like very freeing for them probably.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where they go with it.
What other things did you like?
Infernal Hulk continues to be very good. Yeah. Yes, on Transformers. What else? Oh, Ultimate Spider-Man.
That ultimate issue. A lot's happening.
Oh, good.
A lot of punches.
Oh my gosh. How's this going to wrap up? I don't understand. I'm so confused. We're so in the thick of it. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. That has not had a single letdown issue this entire run. It's been so good. So, yeah, I don't know why so many series that I love have to end on issue 25. What is that?
Well, issue 24, unfortunately.
Oh, 24 for this one? Wait, was this 23?
Yep.
Oh, man. This weather is just really messing with everything. All right, yeah. Well, maybe we'll get a bonus issue. Who knows? All right, well, that's it for this week as far as what we've got to say about it, but we'd love to hear what you say about it. So be sure to like, follow, subscribe, comment, and share. Stop on into your local comic shop and pick up some comics for yourself. And, hey, good Christmas gifts too.
Yeah.
There's so much stuff. It's not all just capes and tights. There's horror, there's science fiction, there's slice of life, there's all kinds of stuff. So if you get manga, there's even like sports stuff, you know, like so. And we've got action figures and, like I said, manga posters.
So many cards.
Pulp apparel. We've got gift cards. We've got all kinds of great stuff. So yeah, great place to do a bunch of your gift shopping as well. We will be back next week with even more Pulp Picks, presuming that the weather is not too bad. Obviously, we're willing to brave it a bit, but we'll see what comes. Until then, stay safe, stay warm, and enjoy the reading.
I'm actually very curious.
It is something.
I'm actually very curious to see like how that's going to pick up on the audio.
Shift.